What's happening YouTube? It's Beymac here and we are back for another tournament video. This time it's a ranked event called How to Train Your Dragoon. And to keep it in line with the event's name, I've gone with the full dragon deck. I will go over combos in a bit. This event was in Norwich, which is about 2.5 hours away, so a little bit of a trek, but it's all good. The guys at Norfolk Beyblade, Chase and Fuzz, always set up an amazing events. They got really cool setups with LEDs around the stadiums. They have a screen scoreboard set up so you can see your scores and your matchups during the day. And they also live stream the final event and put it up on the screen, which is really, really cool. And it was also the first event of the new year, so the leaderboard was reset. So me and my daughter headed down try and get up to the top of that leaderboard on the first event. Let's hop into my combos for the day. I did go for the dragon deck. Let's have a look at the combos. Right, so for the combos, I had the staple Cobalt Dragoon black version on a 160 elevate. I should be getting a hold of the pink ratchet from the Play Park Dram Buster and the pink ratchet from Tusk Mammoth soon, so I think this is going to look insane when that comes. But yeah, solid bay, can't go wrong with Dragoon usually on an elevate. And then we have Impact Drake. So this is filmed post tournament, but we did paint up my spare Impact Drake with this nice blue. It's obviously got scuff during the matches, but it looked pretty cool. I wanted it white, but the white just was not painting onto it very well. But this blue looks cool. I like it better than the original. I went for a 770 and the high taper to start with. During the rounds, I did switch out to a rush because usually I'm better and more consistent with rush and level because I wanted it to hit a bit harder. The high taper just wasn't crazy as I wanted it to be. So I switched them out, and then last up was Clear Drake on a 360 low rush, which is a decent combo. I usually run that on my Coro Phoenix, so Clear Drake, just another attacking bay to work with this combination. Let's hop in to the footage and see how I did in this tournament.
First to 4 points for the initial 5 rounds, and then in the single round elimination finals, it's first to 7 points. And then for prizing, we have up for grabs, we have Cobalt Drake silver version, we have Impact Drake, and we have Samurai Saber.
And first up, I was against Moonflower with Impact Drake out first, running on the high taper combo, up against a Unicorn Sting. So hopefully you would hope that Impact Drake would win this. It didn't get the big hits in, so I was getting a bit worried, but it still had enough stamina to outspin a Unicorn Sting. And then next up was Cobalt Dragoon up against a Phoenix Wing. Again, this is one that Cobalt Dragoon usually handles pretty well if it can avoid those big first attacks, and it has at this point, so just hoping for a spin finish at this point. And Dragoon gets the spin finish. Next up is my Clear Drake. I'm not a massive fan of Clear Drake, but it got the pocket and the win. Next up, I'm against Helena. I'm 1-0 at this point. I have got Impact Drake on a rush now because I was not happy with how the high taper performed last, and I'm usually pretty good with rush. Gave it a little tilt and it burst. Honestly, I really am not getting along with this Impact Drake. Next up was Cobalt Dragoon against Wizard Rod, which is, for me, usually a pretty good matchup. A lot of the time Cobalt Dragoon will outspin Wizard Rod. It's getting close. Wizard Rod is tipping over, but Wizard Rod doing what Rod does, and is able to stand itself back up a bit. And it gets pretty darn close in the end. Spin finish, I'll put it in slow-mo. The judge said Wizard Rod got the win, and I think I agree. Wizard Rod just spinning a little bit longer than Cobalt Dragoon, but it's very close. And Clear Drake comes out up against, I think, a Phoenix Wing. Clear Drake hitting hard, but lost all its stamina when those big hits, and I lose this round. I am 1-1. And next up, I'm against Rat Incident. Impact Drake out first, and it does exactly what I need it to do. It gets the pocket, and I am 2-0 up. Cobalt Dragoon coming out up against Wizard Rod. Again, as I said, this is a matchup I usually like. Wizard Rod tilting here, Cobalt Dragoon's attacking it hard. So I'm hoping here for a spin finish for Cobalt Dragoon. It's never a given with Wizard Rod, but the best babe to put up against it I've always found is Cobalt Dragoon on that elevate bit. And it's very close, but Cobalt Dragoon just gets the spin finish. Next out is my Clear Drake, and a big hit, but burst priority. I lose 2 points, so it's 3-2 at this point. And then we reshuffled. I put out Cobalt Dragoon first, as I thought it was probably the safest bet. Up against, I think it was a Crimson Garuda. I'm not 100%, but I think it was. Which is definitely a good matchup. I'm definitely glad he didn't put out Wizard Rod, but I take the spin finish, and it's 4-2. So next up, I'm against Elden Gold. I am 2-1 at the moment. First up is Impact Drake on a rush bit. Up against Wizard Rod, not an ideal matchup, especially if I can't get these big hits in early. And Impact Drake doing what he does and losing all its stamina from that rubber. Next up is Cobalt Dragoon, and I actually self-pocketed, waited to see if it would jump out, but it doesn't. And I am 2-0 down. Elden Gold paid back the favour and self-pocketed himself, so it's 2-1, and we're reshooting again. And then it's again Dragoon against Phoenix, which I quite like as a matchup usually. And Dragoon takes the spin finish as it should. It's 2-2 at this point. Clear Drake comes out, and it gets an extreme straight away against Silver Wolf. So I am 3-1, doing well in this tournament so far. And for the final game in the Swiss, I am up against Obscurus. We are both at 3-1, so looking good to go through to the next round. I obviously have Impact Drake come out first, up against Tyranno Beat. And the big hits don't actually make that good contact, so it's looking likely Tyranno Beat would outspin, and it does. So it's 1-0 to Obscurus right now. Out comes my Cobalt Dragoon, who's done pretty well today, up against Shark Edge, which is a pretty dangerous bay a lot of the time, but I think I've missed out on its big attacks, and I actually get an extreme finish, really slow one. It's nice to get. I'm 3-1 up at this point. Then Clear Drake comes out, I believe up against a Nightmail, which I really rate as a bay. But Clear Drake is still hitting hard on this Nightmail. And it gets a big hit and it wins.
So in the top 8 we have Eldergold, Lee Drasil, Barista Von Beard, Helena, Beymac, Xenochef 82, Obscurus, and AK. So congratulations to our top 8. We'll set up the graphic now, we'll let you know when your games are ready to start.
And we're into the finals. I really wanted to swap out this deck for my main deck, so IRL Pegasus, Coro Phoenix and Cobalt Dragoon, but I thought for the video I'm going to stick with this dragon deck. Impact Drake up against Wizard Rod. It's not done well for me most of the day. Maybe it's me, maybe it's my launch style, but I cannot get much out of this Impact Drake. And as it has been doing all today, it's out-stamina'd by a Wizard Rod. Next up, Cobalt Dragoon. I actually smashed my arm on the game shelf next to it, but the call was that it was mid-air, I was sniped, and it went in the pocket, so it's actually a reshoot. We do move the table so I don't hit my arm again. Then Cobalt Dragoon against Silver Wolf. Usually not a bad matchup. I rate Cobalt Dragoon as one of the top staminas when it's on Elevate. It's a bit hit and miss whether it will beat Silver Wolf or Wizard Rod, but I would say it's the best Beyblade to go up against them. Also, apologies for the angle, but because this was the final and they had it live streaming, we couldn't get the stand in place. But look at this awesome stadium with the LEDs. It looks amazing. And I think Cobalt Dragoon gets the spin finish on that one. Next out is Clear Drake up against Crimson Gruder, I believe, and Clear Drake gets the burst. So it's looking well at this point. Now we have to reshuffle. I put out Cobalt Dragoon straight away, as I was predicting against the Wizard Rod. But that plan didn't work because I got extremed in a weird fashion. My Cobalt Dragoon literally jumped in that extreme. So I'm losing at this point. Impact Drake is now out, up against Silver Wolf. Get a big hit, but not big enough. Another big hit.
You got it.
Ah, of course.
And Silver Wolf takes it. So I've got Clear Drake out now.
Okay, both ready? 3, 2, 1, go shoot.
And it self-pockets, but there's no contact. So it is a reshoot. I did lose a point, but it is staying with Clear Drake.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go shoot.
And then Clear Drake bursts and extremes. I actually caught the ratchet in mid-air, which was pretty cool, but yep, that's my day over. So, as requested in the last tournament video, you guys wanted a bit of a post-tournament roundup analysis. So let's have a look at the points won, points lost from this deck. First up, Impact Drake, 3 points won, 6 points lost. I did not enjoy using Impact Drake. I swapped out the combination, I think 3 times. I had it on High Taper, Level, and Rush. I just cannot get a hold of it. Maybe it's a skill issue with me, but I just cannot get used to it. I cannot get anything good out of it. I've seen guys do well with it, so I know there is a possibility to do well with it. I just find it so inconsistent. Really hard to get that. If you don't hit it on the first or even second attack, you're pretty much done. So again, this hasn't changed my mind on Impact Drake. I still think it's mid. I'm sorry, but I cannot get anything out of this guy. Next up was my MVP, Dragoon. It won 9 points. It lost 5 points. Dragoon on Elevate is just consistent. It's just good. It will remain in my main deck. My main deck is IRL Pegasus, Coro Phoenix, and Cobalt Dragoon. Really wish I swapped to my main deck for the finals and then tried to go on to win it. But for the video, I stuck with this Dragon deck, even though I was just not having a good time with Impact Drake. But it is what it is. I still got to the finals, so it did pretty well, did what I needed. But yeah, Dragoon, you can't go wrong with. It's just an awesome bay. And then last up was Cobalt Drake, clear version, which got 8 points won and 6 points lost. So it did pretty all right. It got one less than Dragoon, and it lost one more than Dragoon as well. So it did pretty damn well. It's not going to be entering my main deck, to be honest. It's a little bit... It definitely bursts more than my other bays, even on a rush, but maybe it's the ratchet. Yeah, not a massive fan of Cobalt Drake. Maybe the original version is better than clear. I know it's a bit heavier, so maybe that's the issue. It's a decent attack bay. I would definitely run it again if I had to. It's nothing too wrong with it. It's just not as strong as Aero or Phoenix, I think. So yeah, I can't do much else on a post-analysis of this Dragon deck because I'm not going to run it again. It was an experiment. It was for the video. Dragoon is the only one that I'll carry to my main deck. But yeah, that's it for the video. Let me know what you guys thought. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Last 3 tournaments, I've got to the finals. I've got 4th place, 1st place, and then I'm not sure how this one actually ended because it wasn't on the Chalong app. I don't know, I'd be between 5th and 8th somewhere. But yeah, not bad. Hopefully the next one, back into the finals with my main deck. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm on my way to 1,000 subscribers. I'm so close to it. So hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.